First World War wasn't just any old war, you know. Oh no, it was a testbed for a multitude of new inventions and ideas. The aeroplane, tanks, artillery, armoured vehicles. These weapons were like biological organisms in the evolutionary fight for supremacy. And the most powerful one of them all, propaganda, the art of mass mind control. They used not only on the enemy, but on their own people too. So without further ado, let's have a gander at some proper propaganda. Creamer Cats TV.
Do you like Klexing? Then please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the like button because it does something very special. It makes you younger.
Oh, I feel better already.
Hello. If you can hear a lot of noise in the background, it's not World War III kicking off. It's basically construction work at a supermarket that they're building just down the road from me. So try to ignore that if you can. Okay, in this particular video, I'm going to try to review a set of cards which are effectively World War I propaganda. The name of the set is Rainmaker's War Cartoons. Now, Louis Rainmakers was a Dutch artist who was famous for his very, very graphic anti-German World War I propaganda cartoons. Ironically, his parents were of German descent, but maybe there's some kind of Freudian explanation there somewhere. Anyway, his artwork was so effective in denouncing the German government that they offered as much as 12,000 Dutch guilders for Rainmakers, dead or alive. Now, I tried to work out what that 12,000 guilders would be in today's money, and it turned out to be a lot more difficult than I thought. Anyway, there's a few calculators, converters on the internet, and I basically picked out the biggest figure, which came to over £1 million in today's money, or over well over $1 million US dollars. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this particular set came out in 1916 at the height of World War I, and it was issued by Carreras. In fact, it was one of the first ever cigarette card sets issued by that particular firm. Now, there's loads and loads of cards. There's 140 in total. There's no way that I'm going to be able to go through all those in one video. So what I'm going to do is 3 videos, roughly 50 cards per video. Okay, first of all, I'm going to shoot for... What I'm going to try and do is show you similarities between the World War I and wars of today, propaganda of today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is initially shoot through to the ones of interest, particular interest, and then I'm going to, at the end, pan through all first 50 cards of this particular set. Okay, one common propaganda technique is to say that God is on your side and that the enemy is evil, in a nutshell. And particularly in those times, World War I, many ordinary people were God-fearing. So that was a pretty good tactic, basically. Here we wage war on divine principles. And there's the Kaiser hiding away from Jesus because he's feeling guilty, I guess. Here's another one of the Grim Reaper. The harvest is ripe, showing fields and fields of dead bodies. That's what I'm saying. And another common tactic is to say that the enemy are a bunch of cowards, basically. And here it says the shields, basically human shields. Okay, let's have a look. Oh yeah, here's an interesting one, showing that the German soldiers were evil and looted and pillaged their victims. And here's an interesting one, quite simple. It just shows blood seeping out of a train carriage. On the back it says, yeah, the great thing about these cards is they've got a nice detailed description on the back explaining them. But of course, that is propaganda in itself, so you have to take it all with a pinch of salt. This terrible picture of one of the truckloads of German dead going back across the frontier of Germany is one of the most forceful of Rainmaker's cartoons. Its extreme simplicity adding greatly to his power. So we'll just have another look at that, yeah. Close up of that. Okay. What else have we got? Oh yeah, here's a rather grim looking one of Mr. Death, and his tummy getting bigger and bigger with more and more dead bodies. And there's another one, War and Christ, the Germans knocking over a statue of Christ. And here's one of a German soldier not showing any mercy to children, showing how cowardly they are. But of course this is propaganda, so you have to, you know, take a balanced view of these things. And prisoners. This is what it says about how the Germans supposedly treated their prisoners. The horrors of Wittbergen camp, I hope that's how you pronounce it, and the stories that have come from men imprisoned in Germany form evidence of the way in which Germany treats such men as have the misfortune to be captured. Many criminals are better treated than German war prisoners. Oh dear, it's rather damning, isn't it? Oh yeah, I forgot to say, you've seen this particular picture before, but the back is of interest, because for those of you that think that terrorism and terrorists is a new kind of thing, it says on here, the worst feature of the German outrages on Belgian citizens is that they were not committed by troops that had got out of hand, but were definitely encouraged by the officers of the army as part of the plan of terrorism that accompanied the occupation. Okay, now I've featured the ones, what I think are the most controversial and fascinating. I'm going to pan through all the first 50 cards so that you can judge for yourself and have a look. And whilst you're doing that, I'll read my take on World War I propaganda. Okay, armed with Freudian discoveries in psychology, World War I propagandists persuaded the public to fight for their alien 20th century empires. Shocking artwork and slogans whipped the masses up into an angry hysteria against the enemy. Messages were designed to produce emotional responses rather than rational ones. World War I propaganda was exceptionally effective in unleashing the primitive and dark side of humanity on a scale never seen before. Although many ordinary people were fools during the war, the ruling elite couldn't conceal the truth forever, and propaganda became a dirty word. Edward Bernays, considered to be the father of propaganda, resurrected it by renaming it Public Relations, or the abbreviated form PR, which you hear everywhere, from sports managers, politicians of course, war leaders, and even pop stars. Okay, thanks for checking this out. Please don't forget to watch part 2 and 3 of this saga.
If you'd like to find out more about this particular item or other such items, please feel free to pop by my website at creamofcards.com.
Oh no, I'm afraid we've run out of time. But just before you go, please leave thumbs up below, and if you'd like to see more amazing video clips like this,
subscribe to the channel
by clicking on the icon up in the sky.
A Cream of Cards TV.